Good. Good afternoon. Whom of you know bol.com? So there are actually only the two Dutch guys in the room who know bol.com. I mean, in the Netherlands, pretty much everyone knows our company. I have a slide with some statistics a bit later on. But we're going to explain to you what it is, what we do. Especially what we like to do. I'm saying we, Miela and myself, we like to tell you the story which we call Man on the Moon, about our journey to the moon, to become even more agile and to move into DevOps. So we don't have any code today. We could have shown some code, but we don't have code today. We have some tooling today. We're going to tell you a bit about it. But anyhow, DevOps at bol.com, a great journey towards autonomy. I will explain in a second who we are. We first want to tell you why we are here. And actually the reason is that we really like those type of conferences. I mean, it inspires us. It has inspired us. This type of conference has inspired us to embark on our journey, to move to DevOps. And also what we like to do is to give it back to the to the world, to the audience. So we're sharing the story. We've been at other conferences. We're sharing the story with people like yourself, because we believe that one of the ways to grow, one of the ways to become better, is to hear what's happening around us. Before getting to ourselves, first Billy. Billy is the guy, the blue guy. As you see there, he's our mascot. He's also my shirt. He's going to be in many, many slides. People in the Netherlands, they know bol.com, but especially they do know and they love Billy. So you'll see a lot of them. It's a lot of him today. So who are we? I mean, I'm Menno Vis. I joined bol.com 6 years ago. Have been in IT. Well, have been in IT before, but at bol.com I've mainly been responsible for the development organization. When I joined, we were pretty small as a company. We had about 9 teams. Nowadays we have about 45 DevOps teams. And we've changed the organization a bit, which I'll explain. But currently I'm responsible for, we call it, a part of the IT organization, for both development and operations. Miela.
Yes. Oh, this works. I'll try this one. I'm Mihaela. I'm obviously Romanian, born in Vaslui, and I've been in the Netherlands for about 10 years now, working for bol.com for the past three and a half. And I'm here to support Menno in this talk because we're gonna share a little bit the experience with you. Menno will have a more management point of view, and I'm going to talk to you guys from a software engineering point of view. I work as a software engineer for bol.com, and there's quite a few cool things that we would like to share with you on how that's done. Menno, you have the floor.
So first me, sorry. Let's get to it. We have about 45 minutes. It's pretty long, which we found out while preparing for this presentation. But anyhow, we try to get the best out of it. So the first part, we'll tell you a story. We'll tell you a bit more about bol.com, because as I found out right now, I mean, you don't know us, and we really like you to know us as well. I mean, we're an e-commerce company. We're a bit like eMAG, which I've understood is the leading e-commerce player in Romania. We're the leading e-commerce player in the Netherlands and Belgium. This is the front page of our site. This is Dutch, in case you hadn't recognized it yet. So our site is in Dutch. We also have a Belgian flag. It's pretty much the same, but slightly different. This is us. We sell pretty much everything. We were founded a long time ago, already 17, 18 years ago. Actually, we were founded by a German company called Bertelsmann. Bertelsmann Online, that's where the name comes from. We started, like many of those startups, in a small Portakabin. I've never been there. I mean, I joined, 2010, early 2010. So we already had a decent office. But ever since we've moved twice. And we started as an online bookstore, and we became profitable already in 2004, which in e-commerce country, or e-commerce is not too bad. Think about what Amazon is doing, for instance, and we've gone ever since. I have show some more slides on it. In 2012, we were taken over by Ahold, and Ahold is the company which is currently merging with Delhaize, and I've seen the Delhaize supermarkets over here. So we are actually part of a large supermarket chain. So in real life, we have about 250,000 colleagues, but we don't really consider them colleagues. I mean, we have about 1,100 persons in bol.com. That's really who we are, and that's what we love to be. Based in Utrecht, in the middle of the Netherlands. So as I mentioned, we started selling books like Amazon. But quickly we figured out that, hey, there were so many other opportunities. So we started selling CDs at that time. We started selling DVDs, Blu-rays. And then we figured out, there might be more. So we actually moved into, after games, into electronics, into toys. And have expanded our offering ever since, till this moment. And currently we have about 10 million products for sale on every given time. And the last, actually the last category we've added is the clothing part. So what you saw on the homepage, on the picture of our homepage. We also sell children clothing as of last week. So that's brand new. We like to call ourselves an online superstore. Billy, showing who we are, what we do. About 6 million, 6.2 million active customers. So someone who has bought something at bol.com during the last 12 months. Many visits on it per day. It's going to be even more towards the end of the year, when Christmas is coming. Many products that we ship on a daily basis to all the customers we have. And as mentioned, we have 10 million products for sale. So if you would go to our website and you would be able to read Dutch, or at least to figure out what it says, I mean, you can just pick a product and some of those will be there the next day, and the others will take a bit longer. We have about 3 million products on stock at this moment. So not 3 million different products, but 3 million products on stock. And this is the interesting part, because to be honest, it's not often that I'm in a room where they don't know us, because if you look at those figures, well, a couple of things are interesting. First of all, people in the Netherlands believe that Google is Dutch, for some reason, which could be, but it's not the case. But the other thing, what you see, is that we're one of the strongest retail brands, and we've only been out there for 17 or 18 years. Albert Heijn, our mother company, it's also funny, is on number 2. Kruidvat, a typical other Dutch company, which has been around forever, is on number 3. So really in the Netherlands, we are well known. And that's partly because of what we do. It's also partly because of Billy. And I mean, we've actually, if you get into our office, I mean, you see those awards. I mean, those are only a few of those. We've got a zillion of those. I don't know how many. We're proud of it, but it's every day. We have to work really hard to keep on, to keep on winning those awards. To keep on giving the best we can to our customers. So within IT, I mean, we are e-commerce. So e-commerce means IT is pretty crucial. It's pretty important. And at this moment we have about 325 IT folks out of 1,100. So 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 works within IT. And being in IT, that's great. I mean, it's great because you got so much influence on what we're doing and what we can achieve and what we, we love. We love, at least I love, but I think Michael as well. I truly enjoy working at bol.com. So no code, but we do use a lot of technologies, mainly open source. It's what we prefer, it's what we like. I'm pretty sure you recognize most of those. So I've seen there was a presentation on big data using Spark. We do that as well. We have invested heavily in Elasticsearch, which Michaela is involved in. We have moved to, we start using Hadoop 6-7 years ago already. So I think it's 10 years ago that the first line of code was written for Hadoop. So we really need those technologies to be able to grow the company further. So it's not, we love using those technologies, but it's also, we need it to be able to grow the company. And I've mentioned growth a couple of times. And as mentioned, when I joined, we were really tiny. I've mentioned growth. Actually, what I did in order to prepare for this presentation is to look, to go to our website and to figure out, okay, how do you grow? I mean, and there are plenty of books written on growth. I didn't read all of those, but at least, if you look at the title, if you look at the abstracts, I mean, we've gone through a similar pattern. We've grown from, in 70 years, from 1 person to about 1,100. We've grown from 9 teams to 45 teams in only 3 years, only 3 to 4 years, which has its challenges. And those challenges we like to share with you. We also like to share with you how we've dealt with those. And if you look at growth, if you look at a company like ours, I mean, growth basically means more of about everything. More dependencies between systems, more dependencies between departments, between people. More difficult to find someone within the organization. More teams, from 9 to 45 teams in a couple of years. More features, not because we just build features for the sake of it, because we need those features to be successful. And more data. I've given a presentation not so long ago on on the data we collect. But we collect millions and billions of click data per year. We use it to to really know what what our customers are doing, to really serve them, give them the best web shop there is and will ever be. So more, which is, if in case you hadn't noticed yet, it's more, and that has been our challenge. And what does it mean? I mean, you can imagine that if you keep on doing what you're used to, I mean, somehow you'll fail. I mean, if you would, if you would have stayed the same, if you would have, if you would have worked like if you would have been in a porter cabin, I mean, it would never have been, it would never have worked. So we had to change. We really had to do something differently. I mean, we're an agile company, and agile has taken us far. It has taken us, it has given us so much. We started using agile back in 2008, I think. Yeah, 2008, 2009. We started, applying the Scrum methodology. We read the book from Jeff Sutherland, and we started using Scrum because we believed that working in small teams would be successful. But if you have many of those small teams, so about 45, it becomes a bit more complex. Especially because we had those teams developing software, but we didn't have those teams running the software. So we had some challenges with regards to scalability, productivity, but also motivation. You can imagine if you have 45 teams building, a giant release, and we were capable of releasing that release every 4 weeks, but still 45 teams building a release, which we wanted to release every 4 weeks to our customers. It was challenging because if you had one defect, which came from one team, you had 44 other teams waiting for that only team to fix it. So we thought, that's not very clever. We should be able to change that. And it's not so easy. I mean, it's relatively easy if you're a small company. It's relatively easy when we're still in a porter cabin. It's not so easy if you're with 45 teams. So we had to change. And this is actually what we did. So we tried to approach it on an agile way, but also we really thought about the bigger picture, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help to, well, at least we didn't want to start a huge initiative and spend an awful lot of money on building a huge type of new architecture. No, we really wanted to, we had to think big. We had to think about the further growth. We probably will double again in a couple of years from now, but we wanted to start small. So we started experimenting, like we've always done, like we always do. So we think big. And we've called our initiative at the end Man on the Moon, which is also on my shirt. We're inspired. We were not only inspired by conferences like this, but we also inspired by, in this case, JFK. I mean, he had a famous speech back in 1963 about, we have to change. We want to go to the moon. I'm not sure how we can do it. I'm not sure how it should be done. But we're going to get there. So we want to be in the moon and look back at bol.com from that position. And we've made it. So what does it mean? I mean, the moon for us meant autonomy. We needed the teams to be autonomous. In both ways. We want to get rid of the horizontal, and we want to get rid of the vertical dependencies. So on top, it means if you look at the old way of developing software in teams, we had a team maybe starting to build a new service. They had to fill in a non-functional requirement document to get the service. They were developing the service. Then they had to move to another team for performance testing. And then the other team, then again another team, they needed to deploy the software to production. So you had all those dependencies, you had all those waiting times, you had all those delays. And then also the other way around. I mean, you also had, if you look at our code base, we started building services back in, I don't know how long ago, a long time ago. But we still had some huge applications. So we had at the end many teams working in the same code base. So if you look at the web shop, at one moment we had 9 teams working in the web shop. So that's not very convenient if you think about it. I mean, they are interfering with each other, but also they have to, they are dependent on each other. They have to rate if someone wants to do wants to commit a new piece of the web shop. So we had teams in the same code base. We also had systems depending on each other, not in a nice way. We were replicating data all over the place. We had integrations which were not so nice. So it's not only about the fact that we just wanted to change. No, we really had to change because we believed that autonomy would help to grow the company. What we didn't want to do is to invest in process managers or project managers or flow managers or coordinators or I don't know what, or documentation, or we really needed a different approach. So we embarked on our journey to the moon. And we looked at those three elements. I mean, this is maybe some have recognized it, people, process, tools, or technology. It's not enough to invest in tools. It's not enough to tell the teams, hey, you should be autonomous. It was quite a bit of effort. But we started small, and actually Michaela will share with you in a second how we've done that. Because at the end, what we wanted to achieve is not only we want to become better, but also it was not fun anymore. If you have teams waiting on each other and, hey, why haven't you done that yet? I mean, why are you, why not ready? Or why did you break the build? Or why did your automated test fail? Oh, sorry. It's not fun anymore. So for us, I mean, the other things matter. Well, they're crucial for for a company like ours. I mean, we need to cut down costs. We had to grow the number of people, but especially we want to make sure that whenever we got to the office, and whenever the team started working on something, they were actually enjoying it. And they were in full control of what they are there for. And so Billy again. So yes, we started our journey. We started building our own rocket. We started assembling pieces together to get ready to leave the Earth and to fly to the moon. Michaela.
Yes.
Oh, you need this one, huh?
Yeah, I need that one. So the preparation phase, it all starts with an what if. The problem was that we had the Scrum teams, so the software development teams, taking care of the development part, taking care of the testing part, but after that, from the acceptance environment, pre-production, production, everything was in the hands of the ops engineers. So we had very clear specifications, we had a development department, we had an operations department. But then we said, since we're going towards autonomy, independent teams, what if we give the software development teams, the Scrum teams, the power of production? So we give them the right to do their own deployment. So that's how it actually all started, with the idea, what if? Because then the teams will be empowered to actually release and deploy to production way more often. And that means also that we will reach our customer more often and a lot faster. So we were over there in the iterative development part. So it took us 4 weeks to release a huge build to production. And we were seeing ourselves in the future somewhere in the continuous delivery loop. But that's a long way to go, if you think about it, from weeks to hours, or maybe, I don't know, a few deployments per minute. So we thought about how to get about it. Obviously, I don't know if you guys know the Spotify, the company had a few videos, very cool videos out there. We got inspired from, sorry? Exactly, that's the one. So that was a very great source of inspiration, and conferences like this, of course. Brainstorming among each other, that helped a lot. So we sat down and we thought, well, if this is going to happen, it's going to have quite an impact on the organization from at least 3 dimensions. So it's going to touch upon people. We most probably were going to have to change our way of working, and we'll be needing different tooling than what we have used in the past. So people, right? Aren't we like the greatest asset of a company? And we had to think how we feel about this new change. Do we have any system engineers in the house? Like at core, because maybe everyone does a little bit of everything. Then I'm on the safe side over here. Okay, we lost them all. Then it's okay to say what I think about system engineers. I think they're really cool people. Because now that I'm, I don't know, a year after having rights on production myself, I have a feeling on how that looks like. It really comes with great responsibility. So them keeping their cool face all the time, not freaking out at the tiniest, I don't know, alert, that was something that we had to get used to, and we had to learn the hard way. So when we talked about this change with the system engineers, said, yeah, whatever. You guys try whatever you want to try. We were very, very happy, obviously, because we would be getting the power, right? You would be in control all the way to production. And the business stakeholders were all intrigued because for them it really meant that if they have a change, for example, think of, I don't know, for a mobile app, you'd have the fingerprint login possibility. Then with the old way of working, it would really take us 4 weeks to release that to the customers. But now you can do it way faster. Whenever it's ready, you can just let it go, and the customer has it right away. Of course, that doesn't hold true for bugs or I don't know, emergencies, criticals, those kind of things. That's a different process flow. So this is basically us. This is what a Scrum team comes in contact with. But obviously, we also had management, and I'm wondering how did management feel about?
Yeah, we couldn't find the right picture because we were a bit worried, to be honest. We were a bit worried because why would you give away those responsibilities and those why would you give it to a development team? I mean, they're great in developing software, but making them responsible for running in production, for monitoring the systems, which they had never done before. So we were a bit worried and puzzled. On one hand, we truly believe that autonomy. I mean, if you want true autonomy, you need to do that. So you need them to give the tools and the resources and the means to be able to be successful. But you can imagine that, hey, what would happen to the number of defects? Or, how would we react if we have a severe incident? Or, how do we make sure that we keep on releasing software? So we were a bit worried, but hey, we like taking a risk. At least I do take. I like to take a risk. So, and what's the risk if you only start with 1 or 2 teams? So, okay, let's. We believe it's the right way. We believe that we really need to get there. So, yeah, please move on, Miele.
Yeah, so we got some endorsement, obviously. They still had their fears. But hey, we were starting small, agile, minimal viable product. So we only had 2 teams piloting on this approach. And we had great system engineers helping out with the tooling. We built our own deployment platform, which we called Mayfly, because the idea behind it, you start working with feature branches. No one develops on master anymore. And then you actually, by the end of the development cycle, you just get rid of the assets. And it's all clean and neat. And back then, and I'm talking now around September 2014, there was not much more than this, because the Mayfly platform had behind only very well-known tools. We had to automate all our tests, obviously, because you can't really do a lot of manual if you're going towards continuous delivery and you have better control. So we had everything integrated. And so we had the tooling, we had the people on board, endorsement was there, and we came up with the rest of the plan, so to say. So we said, well, you can't just start from Monday, everyone gets to release or everything. We had it in phases. So this was the code for the phases. So you build it, you run it, you love it. And obviously we would start with the first one. So ready for liftoff in our journey to the moon. Phase 1. What did phase 1 mean to us? Phase 1 was just the next step. It would mean that the software development teams would still develop, would still go to test with their new code, will go ahead to acceptance environment, pre-production and production, but they will need approvals for all sorts of steps, in the in-between steps. So we would have system engineers just checking here and there if everything is going according to plan. So to cut it short would be Scrum teams as a backup, but ops still in the lead. So again, we would check how everyone is feeling with this, because we had the 2 Scrum teams going full speed ahead. We were very happy. We got what we wanted, production rights and everything. The business stakeholders were ecstatic because they were actually seeing their stuff in production instead of 4 weeks now to a matter of a week, because we were still trying the waters, and it was still taking some time until all the approvals were in place for every deployment. And the system engineers were not really that excited because they would have to have the approvals for every single new code change. They would have to approve it at least twice. So after acceptance, you know how everyone thinks. They think if you let the code bake for a day or 2 extra, everyone feels safer with it for whatever reason, even though the code doesn't change. So Approval before moving to pre-production environment and approval just before the production environment. So instead of, I don't know, going about their business, all of a sudden they had to do a lot of stamping. They were really not happy about it. And I don't know how management felt about it. Probably they were getting the concerns and the complaints directly from the
really
system
liked the
engineers.
fact that there were approvals in place at first, so there was some kind of control. Being management, you like to be in control. Even if you're not in control, you still like to feel that you're in control. So we liked the approvals, but we also saw the team smiling. Actually, I think your team was in a porta cabin at that time, some kind of a shabby building, behind our office, which was not great at all. I mean, I tried to stay out as much as I could, but they loved it. So if they would love working over there, then it must have been great. And the system engineers, they were kind of complaining. But for us, for management, it felt pretty okay. I mean, it sounds, it gave us the feeling that we are embarking, we're continuing our journey, but we have some measures in place to manage it. So far so good.
They only had to hang in there because this was just the first step until we would earn their trust that we can handle ourselves with all these new rights that we got just overnight. So, because we were confident, we had, as I mentioned, 2 teams doing this. We started spreading the news around the organization. And to make this, how do you tell the business stakeholders what this really means, besides the faster time to market? So we tried to phrase it a little bit differently. So we did storytelling. We compared the old build that would go to production every 4 weeks, like this big, fat, chubby guy, that his suitcase with the chunk of code could just break open at any moment, risky, heavy to carry. To this, not continuous delivery necessarily, because we're not there yet, but just a small piece of code, higher quality, easier to fix if something goes wrong with it, because you know exactly what you released in the new version. You don't have to look in the, 45 Scrum teams worth of code to find that tiny thing that breaks your stuff. So this worked. They were really enthusiastic. I think it's kudos for us, because this was actually done by IT, so we were creative enough to come up with a metaphor for it. And we did celebrate our small accomplishments. So at the end of, deployments and everyone feeling comfortable that it's going the right way to production, we got from the management certificates of accomplishment. And we did celebrate it with cake and all. So that was fun. And that also meant that we were flying. So phase 1 was complete. We were actually ready for the next phase, which is the run it phase. This is, I think, the most interesting one of all, because starting with phase 2, the ops would be in the background and software developers would be in the lead. That meant no more approvals. So you were your own master. You had your code, your business feature, you would just develop it and deploy it to production. You would still send out notifications, of course, just so that everyone is informed about when new functionality reaches production, so we can always trace it back. But that was it, full control. So how did we feel about it? Yeah, that's a good one. The business stakeholders, well, they were happy because for them, nothing really changed except the fact that the Scrum teams were spending a little bit more time, since they would be deploying their things on their own, and it took a little bit more responsibility, because also the monitoring that comes after the deployment was also in the Scrum team now. So that took time, a little bit of energy, a little bit of unexpected. So they were a little bit worried. The system engineers were at their normal state again, cool and relaxed, because they, approvals were gone. They were back at doing what they love doing, and that's tooling and things like that, although testing the new technologies out there, those kind of things. And we were both happy and both freaked out, because we were not used to doing monitoring during the office hours, so that really came on our lap. The ops engineers would be still doing it during the nights and the weekends, but we were really in charge during the office hours. So that's a little bit scary, because you don't know how to react. For example, if an alert pops up, you don't really know. And I'm curious how management felt about it, in contrast with how we felt about it.
Yeah, actually, we started to like it better and better. Because also we realized that, for instance, asking approvals is also something I don't like. I like, when I like to have my own autonomy. I like to be able to take decisions and to do, what I think is right. And the only thing I need is a framework. So that's what we figured out. I mean, we needed to, we need to be really clear about the framework. What are the boundaries? What can you do? But also, what can't you do? And we started realizing that also because of discussions we had with the team. We actually had moved to another office, so they were really in a nice building, on the whatever, the third floor. So it was good for me to get there again. Kidding aside, I think we really became more enthusiastic and enthusiastic, just because the fact that it really started helping. But I must say, we were keeping a close eye on how things were going, and we'll give some more insight on that, because we also, it was not only just being enthusiastic is not enough. We also needed to see the results. But yeah, good, better and better.
Well, first results were already there. Look at this. This is a really happy team. This is me and my team. 5 different nationalities actually in there. This is us doing deployments to the production, first deployment to the production environment without any help whatsoever. So it is just us pushing the button. We actually still made jokes at one point that we could actually maybe, I don't know, have one of those big red buttons in the office that you can push, but everyone freaked out.
Yeah.
So, great responsibility. It came with the monitoring, with the actual monitor. It didn't always look green like this. This is a nice picture. It's something that we saved for ourselves, because in reality it looks completely different. With alerts, it turns red. Everyone freaks out. And it came, of course, with the biggest challenge, which is this one. Do you recognize this? It's not easy, right? Overnight, you have to, from just minding your own business, developing, to go into thinking alerts. You see an alert on the monitor, you have to react right away. You have a team phone that you have to carry around all of a sudden. So if you're at lunch, then team phone rings, then you have to look at it and see if it needs your attention, yes or no. So this was pretty much how it looked for us. Really, really scary. I hope you didn't jump to the wrong conclusion here, because it's really just a sheep with a wolf. Yeah. Feel free to approach me, yeah, to explain why the choice. So we have landed on the moon. We were ready. We were taking the responsibility. We had, I think, when we were flying with the teams, instead of doing one big deployment every 4 weeks, we were doing now around 170 deployments per month, which is quite a lot, quite a big step for us. And we were now ready to look even further, which is phase 3, because we had the Scrum teams, independent teams, doing this successfully. Hardly any issues. The number of criticals went down. Menno will tell a little bit more about it. But we were going even further. So we would also like to be cool, like the system engineers, just have that, I don't know, alert on the monitor. I know exactly what where that's from, so just cool about it. And business stakeholders, we would like to make them ecstatic and enthusiastic about everything that we're pushing to production. And this is the phase we're in right now. So we started August 2014, and this is now, quite a bit further away. We're not there yet. We're not laughing out loud yet, because Menno will tell you why.
Yeah, we'll get there. My feeling, I also wanted to be cool, but for some it doesn't work with management. So we are, I'm still really enthusiastic, and I'll show you why. I'll really show you why, because it has given us so much so far. Not sure if you know this guy. I didn't know that it was this guy until I googled him earlier this week. But he had to, he'd written a book which I had to read once during my study. It says, structure follows strategy. Because we had embarked on a journey. Actually we're changing our IT strategy and how we develop software and how we can and want to be successful. So we thought, hey, maybe we should also change the organization, and that. We started seeing that after a while. So we really believe that where's the clicker? Thank you. So we wanted to make a change. And actually, how we were organized was pretty simple. We had architecture department, we had a development department, and we had a operations department. No? Makes sense. Easy. But hey, I mean, actually what we realized that we really, we had to bring the ops engineers, the system engineers, we had to bring them much closer to the teams. So actually we transformed ourselves. So we moved into what we call spaces. We did like cool names. So instead of calling it a department, we called it a space. And within a space we have fleets, and the fleet consists of multiple teams, and the team consists of multiple people, engineers. And what we actually decided to do was to move a part of the former operations department, so the system engineers, moved them really close to the development teams, in order to help them and to learn and really to make it possible for us to be successful. We still had a platform space, as we call it. We still had platform teams because we still have an infrastructure. We have, we need to keep the knowledge. We have knowledge on the storage. How do you build up the storage layer? We're running our own data warehouse, so we still have a relatively small platform space or platform team. And the other thing they do is they provide tooling. They build actually also software, but not software which will be used by our customers, but software which will be used by all the other teams. So they also, actually kind of traveling to the moon themselves as well. And what have we achieved? Because we had a dream. Our dream was to fly to the moon, and we believed that we will get there. We weren't sure how, but we really believed that we will get there. But how? What came out of it? Because, as I mentioned, I was a bit worried at the beginning. If you look at the deployments, in the old days, we had something called a Super Bowl, which is a major, a Super Bowl, which is a major release every 4 weeks. And when we started, our journey, we started moving to autonomous teams. We actually saw that the number of deployments, so those are actually deployments per service, it started to increase. It started to increase rapidly, and this is almost, I think, it's almost a year ago, about 9 or 10 years ago, when we made the slide. And then we had, on a good day, we had about 20 to 25 deployments. Now it's way higher. I mean, I don't even know what we're deploying continuously. So it really has changed. So we have been able to meet, to decrease the time to market. Also, if you look at quality, that was really what I was a bit worried about. Aren't we going to break it? And if we break it, how fast can we fix it? Well, pretty okay. I mean, if you looked at the number of issues, it actually went down. It started going down. And again, this is also a year ago. We're not quite there yet, but it's much better than before. And think about it. We had more teams, we had more people, we were building more features, we were releasing much more. So, hey, more is less. Pretty neat. Also, if you look at other numbers, I mean, are the teams more productive? I mean, can they actually do more because they have less dependencies? And if you're simple about it, by looking at the user stories per team, you can actually see that they are, the output is higher. The number of incidents, which I just mentioned, is going down. The number of releases is going up. And there's a nice, here there's a bit of a dip here. And I got the question before, and that's actually the period. That's the season, as we call it. A really busy. The busiest part of the year. So the end of November and December, people are buying stuff for Christmas, and in the case of the Netherlands for Sinterklaas. So they're really buying a lot. Our systems are heavily used, so we are a bit more careful there. So we don't want to release too many new features. We really want the systems to be stable and to be up and running continuously. And also, if you look at the number of ITers, which is the grayish area, pinkish grayish area, that's pretty much three times as many persons compared to a couple of years ago. So yeah, we're actually, I'm happy now, so I can, if you to draw my picture, it would be a smiley. So how did we manage? Because we needed some kind of control, so we actually had implemented something like a mission control. This is from Apollo, but it's not like that. It's a bit simpler. We had a poster on the wall and also a slide where we kept track of all the services from all the teams moving from phase 3 to 2 to from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. And this is about 1.5 years ago. And this is actually how it's, this is how it's done. So it's not rocket science. We believe it's rocket science, but it's pretty easy. You just move them around. Sometimes they fall off, so it's a bit tricky from time to time. But we make pictures, so we know what it was before. And I forgot to mention, this is actually the office of our CIO. So he, gives him the opportunity to see us. So that's also nice. And but he can't see the face. But so this is a bit later. So we really saw that we were moving. After the pilot, after the 2 teams, we started to roll on all the other teams. And some teams are moving faster than the others. And if you look over here, I mean, those are the services from the team of Michaela. And so all the 45 teams started moving. Some a bit fast, and some a bit slower. And I just took a picture before traveling to Bucharest. So this is a picture taken from the thing on the wall from Monday, I think it was. Actually, you see that we've really moved ahead. So yeah, we have some laggards. So we have someone here, like one service which we don't. Probably it's a service we don't use anymore. I can't read it, or we don't, or we want to get rid of it for some reason. So, but we have some laggards. But the majority of the services are being moved to the continuous delivery model, and we're going to get there. The ambition is to have all the services in continuous integration, in continuous delivery mode towards the end of this year. So then this picture should be very crowded in the middle, and there should hardly be any services left in the outskirts. Yeah, what's next? Actually, we don't know. We have a feeling. I mean, we'd like to continue our journey. So we've gone to the moon now, so let's aim for Mars, like in real life. The Americans, they went to the moon, and now they're aiming for Mars. And if you think about it, I mean, while growing, we want to be as successful as we are currently. So we truly want the best solutions to our customers and our partners, and we are sure that we need to adapt ourselves. We have to change. We have to stay adaptive to whatever happens in the outside world. So we're gonna embark on the next journey to March. We're gonna find 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 teams to lead the way, to explore where no one has been before, and to really make it happen. And Michaela is, I think you want to close down? You want me to close down?
We can close down together.
We can close down together. Oh yeah, that was the idea.
Yes. Well, as we've shared with you, it was a hell of a ride. We had the power to actually make it happen ourselves. It was really up to the Scrum team to find their own way. They were there to support and nothing more than that, and to, celebrate with cake at the end of the phase with us. We're not stopping here, exactly as Menno said, and we are still defining what phase 3 is, exactly how we start loving the journey we're having, and also what Mars will look like. I don't know, being the most adaptive company in the world, maybe taking on Amazon and everyone else that's out there, Google, you name it. I think we can do it, and that's the attitude. That's what we have. So thanks a lot for listening. If you guys have questions, maybe a little bit more in-depth technical questions, feel free to approach us with a drink. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you.